subscribe to James the Sheriff Dixon, you motherfucker.
This is Fun Times with the Sheriff, Season 5, Episode 4. I got Ronnie Hayes back on. Say hello.
What's up, chat?
So, I want to start off my list here. I've been keeping track of some movies you've been mentioning on your live streams.
Mm-hmm.
You there?
It went silent. I didn't hear anything after you said live stream.
I was going to say, I was keeping track of what you've been saying on certain movies through your live stream. I wanted to go off of. So, I wanted to start off with demon movies. You said you don't like demon movies?
I'm not big on possession movies now.
What about like Toni Collette and what's that movie called? Hereditary.
Yeah, you're talking about Hereditary. I really liked Hereditary up until the end. I didn't hate it. I just don't care about possession, and I just don't find it scary. I understand the interesting aspect of it. It's just there's nothing there. Same thing for ghosts. Like I can tolerate a ghost story, but it's at the very bottom of my list. I don't know.
What about that new Talk to Me that just came out? That's getting nothing but good reviews. I've been meaning to see that too.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing that. I probably should have seen that. I went to see the Last Voyage of the Demeter, which was
I've heard mixed reviews on that one.
It's definitely mid. I would still recommend it because it's a quality movie, but it should have been, it's a movie that would have been a lot better 40 years ago.
What about speaking of since it's a Dracula movie, did you see the one with Nick Cage in it or no?
No. I'll eventually get to that. I really like Nick Cage, especially when it's ridiculous, but I heard some of the reviews made it sound like it was too goofy and not enough Dracula, so I skipped it.
It was he was really good. Surprised me how good he is when he goes full on Nick Cage mode.
Yeah.
I also saw that Sympathy for the Devil 2 last night, which surprised me as well because he takes like Face Off, his acting in Face Off, and doubles that in that movie.
Oh wow.
But yeah. And I know that for the demon movies thing, it got old because of The Conjuring. I know that.
What, The Conjuring?
Yeah, the demon movies. Yeah, the jump scares. I know what you mean. Like it got old because of those movies. There's like 20.
Oh
of them. Yeah. So I watched Universal Soldier 2. If you want to talk about that for a bit.
Yeah, I actually got that for the 4K release to see how it looked. And the Steelbook was like friggin' awesome, and it was cheap, so I picked it up. And I love the art on the Steelbook, and then rewatching it, it's just a fun 90s popcorn flick.
Yeah.
But it looks really good. It looks like, I don't know, it looks so... Last time I saw it was probably on VHS, and it looks so much better. But yeah, it's a fun old movie. A lot of those Jean-Claude Van Damme movies are really fun to watch, like Time Cop and stuff.
I thought the story was like reminded me kind of like Terminator. Plus, I wrote it down here on my notes because when I was taking notes while watching it, real quick here, it was Terminator mixed with RoboCop.
Oh yeah,
those are my thoughts while watching it. Yeah. I also have here the Ahsoka series is premiering. Are you a big Star Wars fan?
No, I was as a kid. I still love the original 3, but in my view, Disney has butchered it till there's no redeeming qualities at all whatsoever.
They closed down the animation studio that did all the animated Star Wars stuff this week.
Oh, really?
After them being in business for 20 years, yeah.
That's a shame because I didn't watch the animated stuff, but it got a lot of love in the past, so that's weird.
It's a resurgence because Dave Filoni is the one who wrote it, and he's now doing all the live action Star Wars TV shows. So yeah, there's also for Star Wars, there's an anime series they have called Star Wars Visions. You've heard of that one?
I don't think I did. Anime?
It's about
that seems to be the new hype, though. the turning everything, like we have the anime Superman one, we got you said the anime Star Wars. There's an anime Bruce Lee one, which that one probably makes a little more sense, but you could kind of see how the comic industry has kind of crumbled with all their nonsense and
Oh, and the
ridiculousness.
Scott
And
Pilgrim
anime's
apparently.
blowing up. Oh yeah, I didn't know that was an anime, but you see anime blowing up, so they're trying to get a piece of that pie, but they just don't realize that they are the problem. Their writing, the quality, the way they hire, the hiring practices, everything that they stand for in the comic industry and anything that's coming out of the creative process with them and the characters, they are the problem. They are the ones that just need to leave the industry or focus on good storytelling. Just turning something into anime is not going to help them. But I just wanted to mention I seen that trend where they're trying to, fleece the anime community.
Yeah, do like popular things, but Star Wars though works for it because each episode's about 5 to 10 minutes long, and it's a different Japanese animator for each episode, a different story. But yeah, you there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say
Uh,
that. Yeah, that's for Star Wars. Did you watch
yeah,
that?
I don't know anything about the Star Wars one. That's the first I heard about it, so
Yeah.
I didn't really have any input yet.
What about that new zombie movie on Netflix? That Zoom 101 thing.
I think that was at the. I think that was the one where someone sent me a picture of it, and when I looked at the trailer, it looked real cheap, but it might be different because
It's
I don't remember it being called Zoom 101.
Yeah, it's based off of the anime, the same name that they made, and it is real cheesy. There's a zombie shark in it.
Oh well, then yeah. I mean, eventually I get around to watching all zombie stuff, but it usually goes on the back burner until I'm really in the mood and I'm like, okay, I want some really ultra cheesy.
I just threw it on in
Yeah.
the background because it was on my list when it first came out, and I was like, it's fine
Yeah.
for like a background flick thing.
Oh yeah.
And then I wanted to talk about uh, Barbie and Oppenheimer, big things right now.
Yeah, I didn't see either one, but I'd probably go to see Oppenheimer. I know my daughter wants to see Barbie with a friend, so I'll probably take her to see that.
And I saw Barbie. I plan on seeing Oppenheimer this sometime between now and tomorrow. I
Oh
liked
yeah.
it. Ryan Gosling was great as Ken,
Mm.
and yeah, it is. If you're thinking about what it is, it really is a like they hit hard on the feminism stuff in it.
Yeah, my friend told me he and his girlfriend took him to see it, and he didn't mind. He likes all types of popcorn flicks, but he told me he was a little surprised in the beginning. I don't know what's in the first 15 minutes or the first 30 minutes or so, but it told me it piqued his interest where he was like, it's weird and goofy that they would go in that direction, especially for a Barbie movie,
Yeah,
but he could see the appeal of how flashy and goofy everything. It has like a really catchy, stick in your head type of draw to it. But I have zero interest in seeing it. It's just not my cup of tea.
I understand that. A lot of people have said that too, like the Greta Gerwig feminism stuff is yeah. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I personally liked it. There's a lot that happens in the last 40 minutes of that movie, like a
Yeah.
lot. Patriarchy take over, a 10-minute sing-along song that Ryan Gosling does, power to the man, or stick it to him, whatever you want to say.
Oh. Now, if it was a honest, you know what I'm saying? If it wasn't written from a perspective of like ultra bias, I think I would probably give it a shot. I'd be like, all right, let me go in. But you already know going in there, with that ultra bias, there's no complexity to it because anytime you have something that has that ultimate bias to it, you lose some of the complexity and
Yeah,
layers to it. The same way when you write a killer, like a lot of people look at killers, real life killers, as just stone cold monsters, and they are, but they also have a complexity to it where
personality.
you'll
Yeah,
see them helping elderly people. They'll take care of their family. They'll help their community. And people are always like, "Oh, I can't believe it," and that's because there's complexity to life. So if there was complexity written in it and there was layers written in it, I'd probably I'd probably give it a shot, but I don't know.
I've wanted to bring this up since you mentioned family. As of Thursday, I've watched all 11 Fast movies.
Oh yeah, you
Oh,
like
back
them?
to back. It took 2 weeks because each of them are over 2 hours long.
Yeah, that's crazy. They go so off the rails, but I guess by the end it's just like let's watch it to see how crazy ridiculous it gets.
And that's exactly why I started it, because I figured it would be like a good thing to talk about, because I told you before I do bad movie reviews, and I'm like, I have not seen a single one of the Fast movies, only clips online up until
Yeah,
this
I've
point.
only ever seen the first one.
Yeah, the first one is like the really only true one about racing, and then it goes
Hmm.
crazy after the second one. Well, the second one too, because it's Tokyo Drift. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like after the second one they go downhill. My favorite one though was Tokyo Drift. I got some slack for saying that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Drift.
apparently that's
I
the worst
remember
one.
when that came out.
It was like 2006, I think, because it's right after the first one, which was like 2001. It's just crazy where they went. The ninth one, they go into space. They take a car and they just slap a bunch of nitrous on it and they fly that into outer space.
Why am I not surprised?
I was like, a movie series has made it when they go to space.
Hmm.
It kind of reminded me of that Friday the 13th, that one where Jason
Yeah,
into space.
Jason
Yeah,
X.
I was thinking of that. So speaking of uh, franchise movies, I don't think I've ever heard you talk about the Resident Evil movies, more so the games.
Well, I love the games. I grew up on the game. I think the first game had a big impression on me. It was one of the first times where I honestly sat back and was like, I love zombie content like that. I remember being so young and being so definitive, but the movies were such an immediate and ultimate disappointment. And it's so vivid. I remember me and my brother watching the trailer
Yeah.
when it released on TV, and we each like leaned forward in our seats and we were like, Resident Evil, no fucking way. And then the girl does like this running jump kick to a dog off a wall, and me and my brother both looked at each other like, what the fuck was that shit? Like ever since that moment in time, it's been trash. I think Resident Evil, my opinion of it, um, if you erased it from memory, you'd probably do the world a service. It is trash, garbage. It's just an excuse for some, narcissistic or pussy whipped asshole to give his wife a job
Oh
in a
yeah,
franchise. That's it.
because they
Resident
worked on
Evil
it
movie
together. Yeah.
series exists only for a guy to give his wife a job. Otherwise, she wouldn't have gotten shit ever since. What was she actually good in?
Fifth
Fifth
Element.
Element.
Fifth Element.
Other than and yeah, and in that movie, she shut her mouth the whole time anyway. So Resident Evil, that's like Halloween 2. Halloween 2, Rob Zombie, he blew his own project just to stuff his wife in a role that made no sense, dumb as hell. And fans see it instantly and they're like, okay, dude, give it a break. Have your wife get a real job instead of stuffing her in these projects.
And I,
Yeah,
I,
that's Resident Evil.
I was gonna say for me, that's my franchise. Like I love it, but at the same time, I know it's like you just said. I know it's just for them.
Oh yeah. Now here's the thing: if you came out with, Super Crazy Bitch Does Backflip Part 1, 2 to 7, and it was its own IP, I
Yeah,
probably would even lean more positive to it. But because you just
slap
robbed
the
the
name.
the IP of Resident Evil, I'm gonna hate it from now until the day. Put that shit on my tombstone. This is trash because you took a property just to use the logo, and you have no love, care, or interest for the actual source material. So fuck them.
I was gonna agree with that. Like, if it was just like a zombie movie with Mila Jovovich without the Resident Evil name slapped on it, yeah, bet you people would have loved it.
And to be honest, it probably would have been, it probably would have been like an iconic, forever legacy. Even more than what she is known for now. For the 100 people who like Resident Evil movies, it probably would have been like that is the role for her, the definitive iconic, blah blah blah. But the biggest problem is, and this is why they stole the title, no one would have watched it. I mean,
Yeah,
unless it was amazing, no one would have watched it. That's why Hollywood always takes like Ghostbusters, the original, female one that flopped. The only reason it
Yeah.
flopped is because they just took the IP and they were like, "Here, you do this." You know,
And
it
they just
wasn't
had
even
Bill
like
Murray.
someone who was passionate decided, "I want to do this."
And yeah, they just had Bill Murray show up for like 5 minutes in that movie, and they called it a sequel to it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But yeah. Real quick though, to switch subjects, I want to get your thoughts on the current Marvel movies and the way they're going.
It's funny because you have Endgame, and those movies won me over. I'm not real big on Marvel because there's no blood, there's no gore, there's no grit. There's nothing of. I don't go into a Marvel movie wondering if like anything's at risk. No,
Yeah.
the world's at risk. The heroes will win. They might bleed from the lip. They might get a nose, a bloody nose. Ooh, wow, that's riveting. I don't find that stuff riveting. I like shit where Spider-Man can get his arm ripped off and he can get beaten with it half to death. I want real, tension and danger for the characters. Uh, they've been doing a little more with that, and eventually they started winning me over because they were really good popcorn flicks. Long story short, you hit Endgame, and they kind of ended their run, and they went into what did they call it, Phase 2 or whatever,
Phase like
and or
yeah.
Phase 3 or 4, and then they started introducing all these other characters that are terrible, and I don't understand the. I don't want to say like they went from like non woke to woke because that's not what they were doing. They still had the woke shit blended in there, but I think it was a more balance of actual storytelling, passion with the projects. But once they hit Endgame, it was like they said the floodgates were open and they were like, all right, let's do a whole bunch of nonsense. Like Captain Marvel is an embarrassing piece of cinema. Embarrassing.
It's all being.
And
Oh,
I don't
go
even
on.
hate Brie Larson. I like her in Free Fire. Free Fire is a great popcorn flick that has what's his name, Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Um, it's a great movie that is literally about people shooting each other in a warehouse. That's it. But current Marvel is just ass. The TV shows, the movies, and I don't know what happened because it was like a switch. Once Endgame happened, they just, I don't know.
It's a lot of people blame the TV shows because they're like 2 or 3 years in a row there would be like a bunch of shows and like 1 or 2 movies.
Yeah, TV shows were probably a bad idea altogether. I mean, the TV shows would have probably been good for um, building into the bigger picture. So, like, you can find something interesting on the TV show, and it'll give you that deeper dive that fans love about particular topics.
Or
But then the
or particular
ultimate
character.
cinema events should be for the movies.
Yeah. Looks like Secret Invasion was their biggest flop ever right now.
I watched the first episode on accident because Hulu auto plays
Oh,
it.
yeah, I
One
saw
I
that.
like Hulu, but one thing I fucking hate is Hulu forces you to watch shit that you don't want to watch. What they'll do is they'll say, "Do you want to watch the trailer?" You'll click on the trailer,
And
and
then
then
the
it'll
episode.
auto play what you watch. It's like and then you have to back out of it. One time I was washing dishes and I clicked on no, I was watching Justified, and it auto played Secret Invasion because they did some sort of deal with Hulu to do the first 3 episodes or whatever. And so I said fuck it, and I watched it, and it's just dull. It's lifeless.
Yeah, they made a new super character where the character has every single Marvel power.
Oh, I saw her. I saw that picture of her.
Like,
I thought it was a fake picture at first. That's how
Yeah.
bad it is.
She has every power. She's now the toughest Marvel character, and they wrote themselves into a corner doing that.
I don't understand why writers do. In comic books, they've done that before, where there's like, this guy has light vision. Well, this guy has ice light vision, and he can run fast. Well, this guy has this, and then eventually they're like, okay, here's the ultimate villain who can do everything from the superheroes. And then they're like, well, shit, how do they beat him? A little kid drops her lollipop and he slips. They come up with some stupid shit.
Or it's like Superman
But-
with Kryptonite.
Yeah.
So I think we covered everything. We're at that almost at that 20-minute mark.
Any last minute
So is there anything you want to like final words, say, promote, whatever?
Well, the only thing I got going on is, I shifted gears to work in a new, field to kind of get money to fund some projects. And the only thing I got going on as far as YouTube is the Flaw Versal reviews. That's it. It's on its own channel. Flaw Versal is the channel, and that's going to be my main focus. Setting up the structure and then getting into funding some of those projects has been helpful. It's just, when you don't do content for a whole month, you feel like you left forever. It feels like you're so distant, but it's only been a month. So what I'm going to do is in, what are we, August, September, I'm starting to come back slowly, and then I'll, I'm not going to lay it out here, but my ultimate plan is to focus on those deep breakdowns of what makes movies and possibly TV shows really good with the Flaw Versal reviews, and focus on that throughout 2024. Because I just love making those edits. It's like a
Yeah.
passion project of mine.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for chatting with me.
I just want to shout out an amazing channel, James the Sheriff Dixon. Oh, he's such a great guy, and he is super cool for coming to the show. I'm glad I got to meet him in person, and you should subscribe.